Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
It is another picture-perfect day in Tampa, Florida. George M. Steinbrenner Field will be filled to the brim for another spring training game, and they'll get a chance to see Juan Soto made his Yankee debut in spring training yesterday, hit a home run. Last year's Gold Glove winner at shortstop, Anthony Volpe, in the lineup. And DJ LeMahieu will play his first spring training game today. And it is time for baseball, as the Yes Network presents Yankee Spring Training, presented by Montefiore Einstein. And today it's the Minnesota Twins against the New York Yankees. We'll also get a chance today to see Giancarlo Stanton, newly figured Giancarlo Stanton, much more slender than in the past, coming off a rough season last year, trying to bounce back, and he will see his first action in today's game against the Twins. And starting for the Yankees after a rough season last year, injury plagued, Nestor Cortez. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, next on Yes. Every new Hyundai, only the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event today. Visit buyhyundai.com today. By the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, help America's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. By FanDuel, make every moment more. And by Acura, precision crafted performance. Michael Kay alongside my colleague Jack Curry, getting ready for the Yankees against the Twins. A couple of things that we definitely want to take a look at. One of the things we just showed you before we went to break is Giancarlo Stanton. Looks a little bit different. Injury plagued last year, and even when he was playing, was not the same player. I don't think that the Yankees' fortunes rest on him, but boy, he could be a nice variable for them.
Absolutely, Michael. When you're talking about X factors on the offensive side, Giancarlo Stanton is one of them. We saw Carlos Rodon pitch for the Yankees yesterday. He's an X factor on the pitching side. Stanton needs to get back to the player the Yankees needed him to be and hoped him to be. You talked about that weight loss. He didn't specify exactly how many pounds he lost, but I thought it was very revealing when he said, I did this because I wanted to get back to being a baseball player. Playing the outfield, running the bases, those things were not easy for him last year. The Yankees would like to see a healthier, stronger, and much more productive Stanton.
All right, on the mound for the Yankees will be that man, Nestor Cortes. Injuries curtailed, obviously, his situation last year. Did not put up the numbers he had the previous season when he was an all-star. A lot riding on him, another X factor.
Only made 12 starts, didn't pitch in the major leagues after August 5th because of rotator cuff issues. He's talked throughout spring training about how he feels strong, did a lot of weight training, a lot of strength training to try and strengthen that shoulder and get himself ready for this season. And you look at that Yankee rotation, Michael, and Garrett Cole's a given. And then after that, Rodon, Cortes, coming off injury-plagued seasons, they need to go out and prove themselves. Cortes has spoken very optimistically about his situation this spring, but I'm sure he wants to go out there and get the results.
Let's see what he'll do against this Twins lineup. Twins made the playoffs last year, won the first round. Santana leads off, Lee at short, and Julian at second. Jose Miranda the DH, Austin Martin at center. Camargo will catch, Rodriguez in right, Prado the third baseman, and Hellman is in left field. Batting ninth, you have to watch out for Julian. What a great season last year. 381 on base percentage, and that's who Nestor Cortes is going to have to deal with.
Those are the numbers from last season, a curtailed season for Cortes, an ERA of almost 5.
And let's do it here in Tampa as he delivers the first pitch, and it's low, and we are underway.
We're going to talk about the scouting report for Cortes, shouldering the load. We already talked about that. His shoulder issues can't be an issue this year. Fastball, cutter, command, those are his 2 best pitches, but he didn't locate them as precisely as he could have and should have last year. And Michael, you already referenced this, flashback to 2022. That's when he was an all-star. That's the pitcher the Yankees need to see. That was our Hyundai pitchers scouting report, Michael. It's spring training. I've got to make sure I slide that in there.
Oh, it's important all the time. Santana last year with the Pirates and the Brewers put up pretty decent numbers power-wise, 23 home runs. Only one active player in the big leagues on a big league roster in spring training has played more games in his career than Carlos Santana. That's Andrew McCutchen of the Pirates. Driven out into right center field. On the run is Soto, and he cannot make the play on the dive. Backing up is Grisham, and he'll flip the ball in, so a single for Santana.
Shoestring attempt there by Soto. Stanton getting the ball, Santana getting the ball in the air. We're going to take one more look at Soto making his approach on this ball. I don't think it was anything to do with the sun or anything like that, Michael. Maybe the way he circled the ball, and then they always say when it hits off your glove, you're supposed to catch it, but as he hits the grass, the ball pops out.
Such a dangerous attempt at a catch because sometimes your glove gets caught underneath you and you could hurt your wrist. I saw it happen with our very own Paul O'Neill. That's grounded to short, and Volpe cannot handle, so Lee will reach. Santana will move to second. You know, one of the things about Soto, we talked about him yesterday, what a great player is. He's not known as a great defender, though he did work in the offseason with Jackie Bradley Jr. They're both represented by the same agent, Scott Boras, and Bradley Jr. is an outstanding defender.
Yeah, you're going to see Soto playing both corners. Yankee Stadium right field is obviously the easier position. On that one, he just came up a little short, but you make a great point about the hand. Michael, you do not want to see one of the best players in your lineup incur an injury this early in the spring, if at all. And then on the subsequent play, the Gold Glover, Volpe, trying to get rid of the ball too quickly, thought he might be able to get an out at second, was unable.
Count 0-2 on Julian. Here's that attempt. So the ball's in the glove, and then it goes underneath him, but not the full body weight. He just rolls over it. Looks like he's okay, and disgusted with himself not making the play. Strike 3, Julian down looking. First strikeout, first out, for Nestor Cortes.
One more look at the pitch. Cortes, cutter to Julien. That's what he needs to do with the fastball and the cutter. He's going to throw those pitches about 80% of the time. What made him so successful in 22, Michael, was his ability to locate those pitches so precisely, read bats, understand what hitters were trying to do against him, and then counteracting that. Last year, too many of those fastballs and cutters were in spots where hitters could do damage.
Miranda slices one through the right side. A base hit. Charging is Soto. He flips the ball in, and the bases are loaded for the Twins with one out. So 3 singles in the first inning against Cortes.
Yeah, one more look at this first pitch of the at-bat right there. It's a cutter in, and Miranda just fights it off. I actually don't think that's a pitch that Cortes would be upset about, and it wasn't as if the ball was barreled up. Miranda just going the other way, and much like Rodon early in yesterday's game with a bases-loaded jam in the second, Cortes has one in the first.
Pitch a little bit inside to Martin. Now, this is a perfect instance of having to watch the game. So he's given up 3 hits. One was a hit to right that he should have been caught. The other one was a potential double play that was booted, scored a base hit, and then punched through the right side of the infield. So he has not exactly been slapped around in this inning.
All right, pitchers and pitching coaches would refer to this as soft contact, and that's what's happened at this point. But that's going to happen at points during the season. So if you're Cortes, figure out a way to get yourself out of this right now. Good life on that pitch. Another cutter under the hands of Martin right there. Now if you're Cortes, you're hoping for the equalizer here to get the strikeout.
You can see Ben Rortvedt tried to bring that down into the strike zone. 2-2.
You like the way he's moving the ball around the zone against Martin here, though. Down and in, going back up. You want to change a hitter's eye level. You change his eye level, you make it much more difficult for them to hit.
You're talking about soft contact. The exit velo for the 3 hits, 79, 101, and 71. Right down the middle. Martin caught looking 2-way. Bases remain loaded.
Nestor dialing up 94 right there, just saying Martin is not going to do any damage right here. Good job that entire at-bat, the way he worked Martin in and up, and then dotting the outside corner for a strike.
Here's Yair Camargo. Skied the other way and out of play. Cortes' shoulder barking a lot of last year. Worked out on his own in Miami. And it just wasn't feeling great in the beginning of January. He said, you know what? I'm going to go to Tampa. So he would fly to Tampa from Monday through Friday and then fly back home on the weekend to be under the watchful eye of the Yankee people. And he kind of got through that hump, and the shoulder feels a lot better.
That goes back to the dedication that we talked about in yesterday's broadcast, Michael. So many Yankees who flocked to Tampa in the offseason. Cortes among them. He needed to be there. He needed to do that. He also was looking to throw a strike here, and he's got it.
So he comes up big with 3 strikeouts, 3 soft hits. So the bases are left loaded. It's the Twins nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Good first inning for Nestor Cortez. Showed some velocity, worked out of a bases-loaded one-out jam. Now we go to the bottom of the first inning in the Yankee order. DJ LeMahieu will lead off. He'll play third. Juan Soto with a long 3-run home run the other way. He's in right field. That was yesterday. This is today. He'll bat second. Batting third, second baseman Gleyber Torres. Then it's Rizzo, Stanton, and Verdugo. That's the middle of the order. And the bottom of the order, Volpe, Grisham, and Ben Rortvedt. And there is DJ LeMahieu. Rough first half last year, Jack. Much better second half for him. And the Yankees are banking that second half is what will happen here in 2024.
All right, second half, he had a .377 on-base percentage. That was about 100 points better than his first half on-base percentage. And when you talk to Aaron Boone and people around the Yankees, they're very encouraged by what they've seen out of LeMahieu. Twins hoping for something from Woods, Richardson. Those were his AAA numbers last year.
So the right-hander will deal to LeMahieu.
Hyundai scouting report, Michael, on Woods, Richardson fighting for a spot. I think he's on the outside looking in, but he's trying to break camp with the team. Needs consistency in his minor league career. He's walked almost 4 batters per 9 innings. And then the final part of the scouting report is frequent flyer, because he was traded from the Mets to the Blue Jays for current Yankee Marcus Stroman. And then he was traded from the Blue Jays to the Twins for Jose Barrios. Traded for a couple of big arms.
And there's a strike.
You'll see fastball, slider, and changeup from him. Won't overwhelm you. Fastball averages 91-ish. But getting back to LeMahieu, Michael, in a perfect world, Aaron Boone has already said DJ LeMahieu is his leadoff hitter, and they roll that way throughout the entire season. If they can get LeMahieu being that on-base machine that he has been in his career, then Soto, then Judge, that's ideal.
You know, one thing you left out in the scouting report, I'm surprised when Simeon Woods Richardson debuted in October of 2022, he passed Jared Saltalamacchia for the longest name in Major League Baseball history. High fly ball. Martin in center will put it away. But last July 17th, Jack, he was passed by Christian Encarnacion Strand of the Reds for the longest name in baseball.
I come to you for those 15-letter and 16-letter nuggets of wisdom, so I appreciate that.
There's Juan Soto. What a debut in Yankee pinstripes yesterday with a over 420-foot home run the other way off the scoreboard in left center. And there was a strike. Seems like he really enjoys playing baseball. Always has a smile on his face. Now, what you'll see during the season, he does do a shuffle when he takes a ball. And he said he intends to do that. He intends to do bat flips this year. That's just who he is, and that's how he enjoys playing the game.
He mentioned in spring training, too, Michael, that Robinson Cano was one of his idols and one of the players he looked up to, obviously the former Yankee. And Robinson Cano used to always tell me the power came from the lower half. And he talked about flexing his hips and moving into pitches. And when you watch the way Soto sets up in the box and stays anchored on that back leg, you can tell where his power is coming from.
You're going to see a lot of 3-2 counts with Soto. He's very patient at the plate. Over the past 3 years, he has the highest on-base percentage of anybody in baseball, the most walks of anybody in baseball. And during the regular season, he's going to be batting in front of Aaron Judge a lot. You wonder, is he going to walk less than he has in the past, because who wants to pitch to Judge with a man on base? Still 3-2.
It's a great question, Michael. And that last graphic we showed talked about how he has taken so many pitches. He didn't take this one. Richards with the fastball about shoulder high away from Soto, flexes his arms, hits it off the scoreboard and left. A right-handed hitter would be proud of that.
Strike 3. Soto down looking. That pitch got him twice in the at-bat. The first one, he nodded his head, said, yeah, that was a strike. That one, not so sure. Look back at Adam Beck, the home plate umpire.
Yeah, one more look at it. Woods Richardson with some movement on that pitch. Catches the outside corner. Soto not happy with the call. But he gets rung up.
Gleyber Torres fouls it back. Good numbers last year. A potential walk year for him. He'll be a free agent at the end of the season. They will not talk contract during the season. So he's got that big carrot in front of him. Not that you need it, but when you're going to become a free agent, you want to be a free agent off a big year.
He told reporters in Tampa he'd like to be a Yankee for life. But when Brian Cashman was asked earlier this spring about Torres' future, and as you said, the possibility of talking about an extension, he said he's our second baseman for right now. So Cashman was pretty blunt about where that stands.
Hit sharply to short. Lee is there. Flips it across the diamond. And the Yankees go down in order. 1, 2, 3. One in the books.
Visit Lee.
Welcome back to GMS. Nestor Cortez on the mound for his second inning of work. Michael, as you noted, he is no stranger to Tampa in the offseason, trying to make sure that his arm is right heading into spring training and for the season. He's thrown several live sessions so far already, including one last Tuesday. He went 3 innings through 44 pitches, but get this, who he faced: Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Verdugo, Grisham. He struck out Soto 3 times in that one. He was asked afterwards. He said, I don't make too much of that. It was the second day of workouts for the position players. He said it's too early for them to be in the batter's box, but I'll take it. He also went on to say, it felt like I was trying out for the team again, facing those guys so early in camp. When I went on to ask him what his goals are for the 2024 season, obviously stay healthy being one of them, but along the lines of that, make 30 starts. In 2022, he made 28, and that is his goal this year, to stay on the mound and be a contributor for this Yankees rotation.
Well, Meredith, if he can make 30 starts, that means he's pitching well, and most importantly, Jack, it means he's healthy.
Pitching effectively and staying healthy. I think of everything that Meredith just said there, the health part of it is so vital for what Cortez is trying to accomplish for the Yankees. You go back to 23, he had a strained hamstring in spring training and thought that he probably tried to rush himself back because he wanted to break camp with the team. You try to rush, you try to do things differently. What possibly happens? You alter your mechanics. What happens? Suddenly your shoulder is bothering you. So got to get everything in order.
Nestor also got married during the offseason. A lot of Yankees went to his wedding. And he said, you know, he's been together with his now wife for 7 years. He said, I've been married for 7 years. Just the title changed. Swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts in his 4 outs for Nestor Cortez.
Yeah, nice movement on that pitch inside. He's flashing some velocity, but he's also throwing pitches like that to get the swing and the miss from Rodriguez.
Now, the thing you watch with Cortes, because we watched this last year as well, you can generate velocity. He's a savvy veteran, but how does he bounce back? So you wait till tomorrow, see how he bounces back. That's when it starts to bark if it is a problem. But right now, he looks sharp.
The fact that he's hitting 94 in the first inning, and speaking of hitting, Prado is going to line that one into the left field corner and get a couple of bases. The fact that his velocity is there already, Michael, it goes back to what Meredith just said about those live sessions and the work that Cortes has put in, because he barely touched 94 last year, and he's already doing it in his first spring start. One more look at Prado here, reaching out, taking that outside pitch into the left field corner for the double.
So 4 hits against Cortes. That was the most well struck. Here's Hellman. He's got life up in the zone. That was 93, 0-1. 38 games across 3 levels in the minors last year. Good numbers. 40 ribbies in 38 games is impressive. Popped up. Who's going to get it? Anthony Rizzo makes the play for the second out.
And that's who Cortes is. He's going to generate more fly balls and more pop-ups than ground outs with the way that he pitches. He does pitch up in the zone with that fastball and that cutter. He will work in a sweeper, a changeup, and a slider. We should point out, Michael, he's facing this Twins team that probably has 2 regulars in it, in Santana and Julian. There's no Buxton, no Kepler, no Correa. Team that won 87 games last year. It's a road game for the Twins, so many of the starting players not on this trip.
There's a strike to Santana. A little odd to see a 38-year-old make a road trip, and that's what Santana has done. First go around with the Twins. Ground ball, backhanded there by LeMay. Across the diamond, right to Rizzo, and that'll do it. No runs to hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Let's go to the bottom of the second. 0-0. Yankees Spring Training on Yes is presented by your local Ford stores. Ford is proud to be the official SUV of the Yankees. For current offers, visit buyfordnow.com. Well, new pitcher ready for the Twins. Stephen Okert comes in after A 1-2-3 first inning for Simeon Woods Richardson. So the lefty against the lefty swinging Rizzo, and Rizzo takes a strike. Home plate umpire is Alec Beck, as we mentioned, Adam Beck. James Hoy at first, Sean Barber at second, and Brennan Miller is the third base ump. One and one. You know, Rizzo's the key for the Yankees. You know, he was having such a good year last year before the injury, where he really got concussed in a collision at first base with Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres. You know, his career high has always been 32 home runs. He's done it 4 times, and he looked like he was on the way to that again. But once he got concussed, it became a different story. So the Yankees are hoping he could return to what he was before that injury.
11 homers in his first 53 games. That's almost a third of the season. You're absolutely right, Michael. If you prorate that, he was heading towards the low 30s again, had an OPS of almost 900. Eventually came back after that collision, but just was not the same player. 1 homer in 169 at-bats, and when he underwent some medical testing, he was told that his reaction time had slowed.
Meredith Moragovich telling me that we will hear from Anthony Rizzo later on in the broadcast. 3-2.
And what you're going to see from Okert, and there's Rizzo, the numbers we talked about. Okert's fastball slider, Michael, but it's actually slider fastball. Throws his slider, or at least last year, threw it more than 60% of the time.
And Rizzo works a walk against the lefty, Yankees first base runner. 64 games for the Marlins last year, 3-2, 4.45, and he came over from Miami 2 weeks ago in a trade for Nick Gordon. 73 strikeouts, so much more than a strikeout per inning. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. You know, he looks slimmer, and the question is, he's never been in bad shape. He's sculpted, but now he's just sculpted differently. You wonder, does that take any power away?
It's something that is going to be watched very closely this year. There are certain Yankee players that are going to be watched because of who they are, Soto and Judge. Then there are going to be players like Rodon, Cortez, Stanton, even Rizzo, players who are coming back from injuries, trying to bounce back, going to be under the microscope to see who they can be for the Yankees in 24, and Stanton is under that microscope.
That one's driven out to center field and deep. Martin back, holds up. He makes the play right in front of the warning track as Rizzo will head back to first.
Stanton with a loud out, and one of the things I'm sure he is looking forward to this year, Michael, and this was an out, but he made strong contact against it, ends up being a fly ball to fairly deep center field. He's got to hit fastballs. He just did not hit fastballs last year. Against 4-seam fastballs, he hit under 200. His slugging percentage was under 500. When Giancarlo Stanton has been at his best in his career, he's pulverized fastballs, so that's something that has to be different in 2024.
Verdugo, who led off in yesterday's game, takes a pitch inside from Okert. That's what he did last year with the Red Sox in 142 games. He is a doubles machine. $30 more doubles in each of the last 3 seasons. 5 players have done it. Verdugo, one of them. Then you see Bichette, Devers, Ramirez, and Marcus Semien. You know, you hear from the new Yankees like Verdugo and Soto, and they rave about how welcoming Aaron Judge has been. Verdugo said, I've only found out recently that Judge has been trying to get the Yankees to get Verdugo for the last couple of years. Likes the way he plays, likes his energy on the field. As Verdugo goes down on strikes, and it was a great line by Soto. He said, I always heard that Judge was a good guy. He said, I didn't realize he was a great guy. And Judge is welcoming like that, Jack. Even even the young players that have no chance to make the team, he has been the Yankee captain long before it became an official title.
I think he understands the responsibilities of that position, of being a captain and of being welcoming and being encouraging and doing what you can to help players off the field. So whether it's Stroman or Verdugo or Soto or Grisham, when those players became Yankees, Aaron Judge is part of that welcoming committee, as is Garrett Cole. If you're talking about the leaders on the Yankee team on the offensive side, it's Judge. I think Cole's one of the leaders on the pitching side, making sure these players feel as comfortable as possible. You feel comfortable, you're going to perform at your best.
And that's what he did with Volpe last year. I mean, he almost became his big brother. He was with him all the time, encouraging him. Volpe did not have the batting average that he wanted last year. Power numbers were there. He stole bases and obviously won a Gold Glove at short. This year, working to flatten his swing just a bit, cut down on the strikeouts. Maybe that leads to fewer home runs, Jack. But with his speed, you want him to have like a 270 batting average.
Right. You want him to put the ball in play. 150 plus strikeouts last year. Too many strikeouts. The on-base percentage was too low. It was under 300. And I think the idea of flattening his swing makes a lot of sense, because if you look at where pitchers attacked Anthony Volpe last year, a lot of it was up and in, and those pitches are tantalizing. And when your swing has a little uppercut quality to it, perhaps the flatter swing is going to allow him to do a better job.
There's a ground ball. The leadoff walk to Rizzo is wasted. Yankees strand one. We go to the fifth.
Change is never.
Hey fans, the Legends of Baseball will be having their second annual cruise on the Celebrity Cruises Apex, departing December 7th, 2024. They'll visit Key West, Bimini, the Dominican Republic, and the gorgeous private island of Labadee in Haiti. The Legends will include the man on the mound for the Yankees, Nestor Cortez, Mickey Rivers, Jesse Barfield, Ron Bloomberg, Jeff Nelson, and many more. This exclusive cruise is all-inclusive and comes with your private autograph and photo session with each of the Legends. Staterooms are going fast, so be sure to visit legendsofbaseballcruise.com today. Monitor Einstein scoreboard, 0-0. One and one on the switch hitting shortstop, Brooks Lee. Skied to right field, drifting back. Soto makes the play. Well, the Twins last year, 87 and 75, and that won the American League Central, 9 games ahead of Detroit. They beat Toronto 2-0 in the wild card round, and it was their first postseason win since 2004. They'd gone 18 straight playoff games with a loss. Then they went to the ALDS, where they lost to the Astros 3-1. Grounded through the left side for base hit. Julian picks up a single. It's going to be interesting to see what the Twins do this season. It's a different team. This is what they did last year, as we mentioned. They hit home runs. That was tied for the most in the American League with the Rangers. And 4.07 runs allowed per game, tied for third in the majors. 9.67 strikeouts per 9. That's the best in the majors. But Sonny Gray left as a free agent. They also traded Jorge Polanco to Seattle. And they've dropped their payroll $35 million from last year. And they're one of those teams with a regional sports network that you didn't know exactly what was going to happen, where it was going to go. They had to renegotiate their deal for 1 year. So the same money coming in, well, that's not the case this year. It's a little less. So the payroll is $35 million less than it was last year. See how that plays out.
Losing Sonny Gray is a big loss, but I still look at the Twins in this division as the favorites, Michael. I look at the rotation that they have right now. Lopez, Ryan, Ober, Paddock, probably Varland or DeSclafani at the back end of that rotation. Their bullpen is strong. Duran, very good closer. They have relievers to lead up to him. And their pitching was their calling card last year, as you pointed out. They're 6th in the majors in earned run average. So there's that projected rotation. And I think that's a solid enough rotation, even without Sonny Gray. A solid enough rotation, I should say, in the AL Central. I still think they're the favorite there.
Pitch is high. Runner goes. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base for Julien. Well, you mentioned the Central. It's not the strongest division. And our information guy, Jeff Quagliata, told a great story which kind of sums up what the Twins are doing here. You know, two guys are in the woods and they know that there's a bear coming, and one guy, you know, knows he's going to have to run, so he puts on sneakers, and the other guy goes fly ball right field. That is a base hit. That's going to score a run. Soto fields it off the wall, scoring easily as Julian, and Miranda with an RBI double. Anyway, one guy's putting on sneakers and the other guy goes, "You're not going to outrun a bear." Because I don't have to outrun a bear. I have to outrun you. So the Twins are just trying to outrun the other teams in the Central.
And Mr. Cortez was trying to retire Miranda, but unable to do it. That outside pitch driven the other way. Miranda projected to be part of the Twins bench in 2024. First baseman who had 3 homers in 40 games last year. But I see your point, Michael. You have to be better than the teams that are around you, and that's what the Twins are hoping to do. I did want to go back and toss one anecdote out there when you said they broke that streak of 18 straight postseason losses. I don't remember the specific year, but there was a year where the streak was ongoing, and Ron Gardenhire was answering questions at Yankee Stadium on a workout day, and he was trying to push that streak aside and basically said something along the lines of, "I'm getting so many questions about this, I expect a plane to fly overhead with a banner that tells me how many we've lost in a row." Well, after the series, that banner would have had to add a couple more games because they didn't break that streak at that point.
A lot of those losses against the Yankees, and you can say, well, the Yankees were better, and they were. But the way baseball is, the Twins were a good team, and they just could not manage a win. And you know, I happened to broadcast that wild card series. It's just a sense of relief when they won that first game, and then their confidence surged, and they won the second game, sweeping out Toronto. And they went into that series with the Astros thinking they had a chance, but the Astros beat them in 4 games.
He's not here today, Michael. We already mentioned it, but much as we're talking about Yankee players trying to bounce back, Buxton playing the outfield would be so important for the Twins. He was strictly a DH last year, but after having surgery on his right knee in the offseason, he said he's good to go to play center field for the first time since 2022.
Grounded softly to Torres. Moving to third is Miranda, 2 away.
So Cortez right now at 45 pitches, Michael. Yesterday, Rodon was on a 50-pitch limit, and he brushed right up against it, and Cortez seems to be in that same position, trying to get himself out of this inning. Rodon's outing ended on a home run. Cortez trying to end his by stranding Miranda at third.
Here's Camargo. Nice frame job there by Rortvedt, bringing it in to the outside corner. We're in the third. Twins lead the Yankees 1-0 at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Chop to third, almost eats up LeMahieu. He could not field the ball. Let's see if it got him in the face. That allows Miranda to score. Looks like he's okay, but it might have got him around the sunglasses, and Aaron Boone's coming out to take a look and probably also to take out Cortez. You can see LeMahieu's looking for blood there. Right under the bill of the cap.
So a tough hop for LeMahieu, and as he tries to make it, we're going to see the ball glance off the glove and then ricochet and hit him in the face. He did go down, adjusting the sunglasses. Aaron Boone on the field right now, checking up on his third baseman. Yeah, this is a tough hop. Would have been a really strong play if LeMahieu could make it. Ball caroms off him, he goes down, and you said Michael Nestor's out of the game.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me.
So did I. What's yours?
The Yankees bring in the right-hander Luis Velasquez. Deals a pitch high to Rodriguez. 1-0. Camargo did pick up a hit on that rough ground ball, and DJ LeMahieu's teammates checking him out. Side of his nose. See if everything's okay. He's staying in the game.
Yeah, what we were able to see between innings, Michael, he kept pointing to his nose. His teammates were checking it out, and by the way that he was acting, it looked as if he said he turned his head a little bit and the baseball ricocheted off of it. But as you said, the most important thing, LeMahieu staying in the game.
Well, one of the things that's a danger in spring training, the slope of the stands. Everybody's wearing light clothing. And even just for a nanosecond, you might not pick up the ball as quickly as you do during a regular season game. That might have come into play as well. And there's a walk to Rodriguez. So first and second, still 2 outs.
Saw the numbers on Velasquez last year at the minor league level at single A. Couple of levels at Hudson Valley and Tampa, average over a strikeout an inning, and he clearly has a big arm. He throws hard. We're already seeing him in the mid-90s right here. Still just a kid, only 22 years old.
Well, he's a grizzled veteran compared to George Lombard Jr. Hit a home run yesterday at 18 years old.
And Lombard Jr. is on the list to play today. So Yankee fans might get another look at the 18-year-old. He is scheduled, and we know that's always tentative, he's scheduled to replace the 22-year-old Volpe at some point during this game.
Runner goes to third. Rortvedt throws and got him. Trying to advance was Camargo, and Rortvedt with a good arm threw a line drive to LeMay, who applied the tag for the final out of the inning, but the Twins have taken the lead.
Washington.
Welcome back to Yankee Spring Training, presented by Ford, proud to be the official SUV of the New York Yankees. What's that hotel again, Jet?
Is that the Sand Pearl? I think we might need Meredith's.
That's the Don Cesar, which is a great hotel. Beautiful. Old-time hotel. 2-0 Twins. We go to the bottom of the third. And Trent Grisham takes a strike. Matt Bowman is the new pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. In AAA with the Yankees last year, you see his numbers. Also appeared in 3 games at the big league level. Grisham chops one to second. Julian over to Santana.
Grisham's an interesting player for the Yankees in 2024, Michael. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. I think his glove is going to help force him into the lineup. He's won 2 Gold Gloves in his career. He is elite at that position. I was talking to former Met manager Buck Showalter, and he brought up Grisham and just talked about the comfort level you have when you have a guy like a Grisham who can run down baseballs the way that he can. Obviously, Judge is the starting center fielder, but Boone has already said with Judge playing center field, they're going to find some time to get him some DH days. I think you're going to see Grisham get a decent amount of at-bats.
Rortvedt rips one through the left side for a base hit. Yankees' first base hit of the afternoon.
And guys, I actually caught up with Trent Grisham earlier, and I asked him that very question. What are your expectations when it comes to playing time? And he said he doesn't necessarily have expectations. He thinks he's going to play a lot. Aaron Boone has said, Jack, like you had mentioned, that he expects to use him a lot, but he said he's simply going to go out there, try to do his job, and if he's doing that, he will be in the mix in the outfield. Very interesting guy. He said he's excited not only to play for the New York Yankees. When he first received word that he was part of that Juan Soto trade, he's excited about being with this organization, but also living in New York City. It's something him and his wife have always wanted to do.
I'll tell you what, he's not a good center fielder. He is an outstanding defensive center fielder, so he will see time there for sure. And you look at that, well, that's a throw in the Soto deal, but the Yankees really wanted him to be a part of that deal.
He's your fourth outfielder, but I would put that in quotes because of all the things we've said and all the things Meredith just said. They're going to find playing time for him, and he's got power. He's hit 61 homers in 547 games in his career. It's putting the ball in play and actually generating an average that he can be proud of. Hit under 200 last year.
Fly ball shallow right field, dunks in front of Rodriguez, so a base hit for DJ LeMahieu. And the Yankees with back-to-back singles, first and second, one man out.
Just as we talked about putting the ball in play, that's exactly what DJ LeMahieu did. Driving this pitch from Bowman the other way. DJ himself would say didn't necessarily barrel this up, but it's a base hit, and it's 2 on base for Soto, which is vital for what the Yankees need to do.
So here's Juan Soto. Now, Juan Soto is going to develop over this season as the guy you do not get up and get a sandwich when you're watching on Yes. You sit there and you watch Soto and you watch Judge. Then you make your decision after that. You don't roam the apartment when Soto's at the plate. High fly ball. Deep right field. Rodriguez back, track, wall. It's off the wall and goes caroms into center field for a base hit. Extra bases. 2 runs will score. It's a double for Soto, and the game is tied at 2, and that's why you don't go get a sandwich.
Anyone who just left for that chicken parm hero is going to learn, as Michael just said, you do not vacate when Soto is at the plate. We see Bowman starting him up with a fastball inside, and I think Soto thought for a second that maybe this one was gone. Yeah, he did. He's trotting toward first base, ends up hitting off the fence. He's able to collect himself in time to get that double. But one more look at the swing. I mean, Michael, it's just picturesque. The way he stays back, the way he loads his lower half. That's not picturesque. Even in spring training, you probably want to be running that out. He ends up with the 2-run double.
Pitch upstairs to Gleyber Torres.
LeMahieu was making sure Rortvedt was hustling at the end of that play there, Michael. He was right on his heels.
For you Yankee fans of a certain age, kind of reminiscent of Dale Berra and Bobby Meacham. Both tagged out by Carlton Fisk.
Here it is again. Rortvedt's got him by a few strides.
Ground ball, left side, fielded by Prado, across the diamond. 2 away. Well, Soto's day is over as Jace Avina pinch running for him at second. So a couple of games for Soto. Got himself 5 ribbies.
As advertised, Michael, 2 games. It's a very small sample size, but we all know who Juan Soto is. We know what his reputation is and what he has done at the major league level at such a young age. And we've already seen in the at-bats that he has had as a Yankee, he is going to dictate the pace of the at-bats. If you give him a pitch that he can do some damage with, he's going to do damage, but he's also going to make you throw strikes. Did strike out in the first inning. He didn't seem to like the call. Woods Richardson was able to dot the outside corner, but as someone who has to break down at-bats on our Yankees Yes Network post games. I love the idea that we're going to break down a lot of Soto's at-bats this year, because I think we're just going to see a master at his craft.
Grounded right side. Santana backhands and flips to Bowman, and that will do it. But the Yankees, with 2 runs on 3 hits, and Juan Soto right in the middle of it, hits one off the wall in right field. And when it's all said and done, 2 runs scored. He's at second. He's had a good first 2 games, and his afternoon is over. No push of Carlos Santana. Well, we go to the 4th inning. It's a 2-2 game. Yankees and the Twins here on Yes. And the 4th inning of our spring training games, we have the opportunity to talk to the manager of the New York Yankees in his 7th season, and that is Aaron Boone, and he joins us now. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Wonderful.
Good.
How do you think Nestor Cortez looked?
Thought he looked good. Stuff's in line with what it should be. Thought he did a good job strike throwing. A couple plays didn't get made behind him that first, so it got a little long, but to punch out the side, how many strikeouts he ended up with? Right.
I think he had 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it very much looked like Nestor made a couple mistakes with the Miranda, maybe 2-strike. They shot down the line over there. He probably got left it up and out over the plate. Probably needed to get a little closer to him. But all in all, I thought, you know, stuff-wise, how he held it, I thought was solid. And you know, now it's, you know, the encouraging thing about Nestor over the last couple months has been his recovery and his bounce back, which was such an issue for him last year. And so hopefully this is another step forward, and we're good in between this and the next start.
Aaron, I gave you bad information. I apologize. 4 strikeouts, not 5.
4. All right. It's all right.
It changed your view of him?
Nah, that's solid.
How about this new guy Soto? He looks like he could help you.
He does. He's pretty dangerous. Woods Richardson made a really good pitch on him. 3-2 that first at bat. Looked like he dotted the edge on him, but you know, it's good to see those level of at bats even in the first inning where we didn't do anything. DJ, you know, grinds out a tough at bat, just misses a ball on a breaking ball up, and then, you know, Soto does the same thing, and that's the kind of pressure, you know, hopefully, you know, that we'll see more of this year, that, you know, is more of who we are and who we want to be, and what's that kind of Yankee DNA of grinding down at bats, and that's what we want to see.
Aaron, you mentioned DJ LeMahieu. Tough hop for him in that previous inning, but what would it mean to your offense if he can be the guy at the top of the order and be the DJ LeMahieu you saw in the second half and you've seen previously?
Yeah, I think take second half. To me, he's another level physically right now than even he was in the second half. He made some adjustments and figured it out and got it going, but he's a different cat right now physically. You even see that first inning, he flies out to right, just a little bit more spring in his step, even in, like, you know, that kind of three-quarter run. He's just got a better burst to him. I feel like his base is a lot better. It would be huge, because if he can be the DJ we know we've seen at his best, then I think the rest of the lineup just falls into place and becomes very long and dangerous, especially behind, you know, Judge and Soto. So it's encouraging where he's at physically, and you know, hopefully he just continues that way, and you know, he can lead the charge up there.
All right, so we see our first look in a game of Stanton. Hit the ball well in the second inning, fly ball just in front of the warning track in center. And I'm just wondering, Aaron, you know, all the reports, he's a little bit leaner, he's always in great shape. Do you worry at all that that will sap him of some power, that he will not have the longest drives in the world? No. He's still really strong. All the, you know, the force numbers that you can measure and things like that, his output is terrific. I think hopefully it just serves him well and allows him to move better, but also, you know, hopefully it allows him to also stay healthier and just, you know, be a more dynamic athlete, the athlete he's been, you know, really his entire life. So his weight and where he is lean-wise is very much in line with what he was when he's been at his very best in an MVP season in 2017.
Aaron, I'm very intrigued by Grisham. I feel like every manager has weapons in the dugout who aren't starting the game, but who are a weapon. Well, what kind of a weapon can Grisham be?
Yeah, I mean, he's a frontline defender in center. You know, he's a Gold Glove center fielder. So, I mean, start with that. I mean, that is huge. And then, you know, he's been a guy that, you know, obviously has had his ups and downs at the plate, but he's got that ability to kind of control the strike zone. He's got power. He's got some playoff success in him. And I just feel like he's going to be a guy that plays a lot for us and hopefully becomes a real core glue guy for us as you know, you inevitably have to face things throughout the course of the year. But love what I see from him early.
You know, it's unbelievable, Aaron. Every fourth inning you put in a guy who work 1, 2, 3, so you don't have to talk to us. Thanks so much.
All right, see you guys.
Oh, beautiful Monday afternoon in Tampa, Florida, as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning of a 2-2 game between the Yankees and the Twins. Giancarlo Stanton leads off. And a swing and a miss against Matt Bowman. Bowman gave up the 2-run double to Soto in the third. Stanton with a fly ball to center in the second. It was interesting to hear Boone talk about Stanton, that he doesn't think there's any diminishing of power whatsoever, and all the numbers they look at in terms of exit velocity, they remain the same. And there was a video that someone took of, I guess it was during batting practice, he made a sliding catch in center field. Everybody started cheering. So he looked like he labored running last year, Jack, and I think that's the key, where he can run a little bit better and not run with the worry of pulling something in the lower body.
And be an option to play the outfield. He started 33 games in the outfield last season. We'll see what the Yankees decide to do with him this season. But I go back to what he has said about himself, Michael, that he wants to get back to being a baseball player. He is a DH, and he will be a DH for the Yankees this year, but running the bases, playing the field, that's all part of being a baseball player. And Giancarlo Stanton, after a struggle of a 2023, trying to prove himself again.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Stanton leading off. That one is cracked to left field. Hellman's there. You know, you mentioned the stat earlier. He really had trouble with the fastball last year. And because of that, he did what a lot of players do, started to cheat at the plate, started himself up sooner, and then he was susceptible to anything off speed. That's why an average that he had last year.
Right, you get caught in between. Now, that was not a fastball right there, but another line drive to the outfield for Stanton. You get caught in between. You're cheating on the fastball because you can't catch up with it, and Stanton knows that he should be able to hit fastballs that he didn't hit last year. And Michael, a big part of it is staying on the field for him. In 2021, he played in 139 games, had close to 600 at-bats. He had 35 homers, knocked in almost 100, had an OPS of almost 900. But if you go back a little earlier in his career, since the start of the 2019 season, he's played in 391 of the Yankees' 708 games. That's only 55%. That's a lot of games missed. You're essentially missing every other game. And the Yankees would like to see that change this year. So would Giancarlo Stanton. No player wants to be injured. No player wants to be on the IL. They want to be out there playing. And Stanton deserves a lot of credit for all that he's accomplished going into the offseason, making some drastic changes to try and better himself.
So in their regular season games, you see that stat, 37.6% of the time he was on the IL. Now, I will be the positive guy here because, you know, I'm a glass half full guy. So when they got him from the Marlins, they were getting the reigning MVP coming off a 59 home run season. So it's been a little bit of a letdown from the player that you thought you were going to get. But every single time, Jack, the Yankees made the playoffs, he was one of the dominating forces in those playoff series and hit very well. And when you're a Yankee, you have to hit in the postseason. So he's done his part in that way.
Right, to use a Aaron Boone phrase, he's been a wrecking ball, and that's what you aspire to. First of all, you got to get there. As we know, the Yankees at 82 and 80 last year didn't get there, but you get there, you stay healthy, and you hope that the changes that Stanton has made turn him into a closer version of those 2021 numbers that I just mentioned. I begrudge you calling me a glass half. I just laid out the stats. I'm not a glass half empty guy.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just such a cockeyed optimist. Sure, I thought I'd point that out. That's all. I mean, thou doth protest too much, Jack.
My goodness.
When you just
My goodness, guys.
Just laying out the facts, right, Meredith?
I'm going to be the positive one here in February spring training. Hope springs eternal. But you're talking about Giancarlo Stanton. He spoke when position players report, and we know he's always been the guy that's standing in front of his locker, willing to answer the questions as Anthony Volpe grounds out here. And I guess we're probably going to take a quick break, and I'll get to that when we come back anyway.
Well, the Cadillac scoreboard shows that we're in the top of the 5th inning. 2-2 game, Yankees and the Twins. And Poteet deals outside as Lee fouls it away. Now, Meredith, that quick inning rudely interrupted you. So what were you saying about Stanton?
Michael, can you believe it? The nerve.
I can't.
The
It's
nerve.
rude. It's not right.
Anyway, I was mentioning that Giancarlo Stanton has always been a guy that has been accountable, but when he spoke when position players reported, he said, I don't get paid to be a stand-up guy or say the right things. I'm here to produce and help us win a championship. That hasn't happened yet, and it has to. And as far as last season is concerned, he essentially said, I just need to flush last season. This offseason, he did a lot more movement-based workouts, more running. You mentioned the change in his body composition, also making some slight swing changes. So the Yankees are optimistic all the way around that he's going to return to his old form and be the productive Giancarlo Stanton we all know he can be.
Van Meter is taking over at third for the Yankees. Elijah Dunham is in left, taking over for Verdugo. And the guy on the mound we should pay some attention to, and that is Cody Poteet. The Yankees signed him during the offseason. And I had someone in baseball unsolicited contact me and said, I'm telling you what, the Yankees have done their homework. That's a really smart signing. This guy can really pop. And, you know, he's one of the people that could be that 6th, 7th starter that might be, you know, some rotation depth. But you see what he did last time he pitched in 2022 with the Marlins, had Tommy John surgery, recovering last year. And a lot of people in baseball like the Yankee signing here.
Yeah, you look at his arsenal, and he actually features his changeup more than any other pitch. Throws that about 40% of the time. We've already seen that today. Then he throws fastball, slider, and sinker. And Aaron Boone has spoken about him this spring encouragingly, too. And you mentioned the Tommy John surgery, and this is where your scouts come in handy, Michael, and you have to see what arms are out there and what are available. But Yankees sign him to a split contract, so if he plays in the major leagues, he'll make $750,000. If he ends up in the minor leagues, he'll be paid $200,000. But it is a major league deal, so he was placed on the 40-man roster.
Last time he pitched in the big leagues was in July of 2022. Had one minor league start with the Royals last year at AAA. He's from San Diego. That might have been a broken bat for Brooks Lee. So Poteet worked a 1-2-3 fourth. This is his 2nd inning of work. Yankees started Cortez, then Luis Velasquez came on to get the final out of the 3rd, which actually was attained as a runner tried to advance at 3rd, and he was thrown out by Rortvedt.
If you look at that Yankee bullpen, Michael, those 8 slots, you could probably make a pretty strong argument that 7 of those, and there's the swing and miss there as Poteet gets the strikeout. That was the changeup that we talked about. One more look at it. Yeah, there's some nice fade on that pitch going away from the lefty batter. Holmes, Loizaga, Hamilton, Canely, Ferguson, Weaver, and Gonzalez. They've probably got 7 of the 8 spots locked up in the bullpen. Obviously, you got to get through an entire spring, but Poteet is vying for maybe that final spot, trying to keep his name in there.
And if you're Poteet, and if you're the Yankees and you look at Poteet as a possible starter, which they do, you might not want him in the bullpen. You might want to send him to AAA so he remains stretched out. You know, in the bullpen, you're a victim of how the starters do. You might not stretch yourself out or remain stretched out. So that's another decision they have to make.
It's a great point, and in this modern era of baseball, it's very important to have relievers in your bullpen who are optionable. If you have the ability to move some guys up and down, it doesn't hamstring you, so to speak, when you have that one game where a starter is out of the game early and suddenly you have a guy who throws 50 pitches and might not be available to you for 3 or 4 days. You want to be able to have the ability to option guys back to AAA.
Two and 2 on Julian. Julian going to be the Twin second baseman with the trade of Polanco. That was a surprise trade by the Twins. Polanco, a big part of their offense, but look to cut some payroll. Just missed him.
So the Twins have traded Arise, who was a very strong second baseman. They've traded Polanco, and now they have Julian locked up for that spot. And what they like about him is what Arise did so well. Obviously, Arise bringing a pitcher back, but this kid doesn't strike out much, puts the ball in play, gets on base.
This guy the other way, down the left field line. That's a foul ball. This man walks, I'll tell you that. Highest walk percentage in the majors last season. Judge almost 20%. Soto almost 19. Schwarber 17.5. McCutchen 15.9. Then Julian 15.7. The major league average is 8.6%. And there's a walk. What they used to say in Little League, walk as good as a hit.
Walk is as good as a hit. And when you look at that list, we know McCutchen has a great eye and great plate discipline. Not surprised to see him fourth. But Julian being fifth on that list jumps out to me, Michael, because you know there are a lot of times, as great and as much discipline as Judge and Soto and Schwarber have, there are times where pitchers are just pitching around them.
Yep.
Not sure guys are pitching around Julian. They're saying we're going to go after him. So for him to have that amount of discipline, it's a real credit to who he's been.
Well, you talk about discipline, Jack. He had a 14% chase rate. That was the lowest in the major leagues. And the major league average, chasing pitches out of the zone, 28%. Half of the major league average. So that's why they felt comfortable. Okay, we'll trade Polanco. We know what he can do, but this guy's the real deal. On-base machine, 381 on-base percentage. And that was 7th in the American League. Anyone with 400 or more plate appearances last year.
He played at Auburn. He was drafted in the 18th round by the Twins in 2019. He was born in Quebec.
Beat his childhood team in the playoffs last year, the Blue Jays. 1-1. 1-2 on Miranda. Miranda is 2 for 2 so far today. RBI double his last time up. And he singled in the first. We're in the 5th inning. 2-2. There's a strike. Miranda down looking. Well, you mentioned where Poteet is. You see the Yankees projected bullpen. This is last season's stats. And we've talked about this a lot, even on the Hot Stove Show, Jack. But Loaizaga is the difference maker because he could play the role that Mariano Rivera played in 1996, leading into Clay Holmes closing games. But Loaizaga has to stay healthy. As Poteet will depart, Yankees will go to the bullpen.
Yeah, Sean Sullivan on our graphics department adding Marinaccio to that list. When I mentioned 7 before, I did not include Marinaccio, so I appreciate Sean putting him in there. I said Poteet was in competition for a spot, and you rightfully brought up that it could be something where the Yankees want to maybe stretch him out at AAA. I look at Luke Weaver as a multiple inning guy. Poteet is somebody who could be a multiple inning guy as well. But what we have to remind ourselves, Michael, is the number that I brought up yesterday. Yankees used 32 pitchers last year. So how you start the season is one way. How you navigate your way through the season is another way.
So Poteet gave the Yankees an inning in 2/3, rung up 3 strikeouts and walked 1. Cody Morris comes in for the Yanks. So from one Cody to another. Last year with the Guardians, 6 games, pitched 8 innings, struck out 9, too many walks with 6, and allowed 3 home runs. Now that beard, that picture of him in the beard, that was with the Guardians, not with the Yanks. We photoshopped the Yankee hat on top of his head. But now you see Cody Morris, Yankee, on the mound. And he inherits one man, first base, 2 men out. Then he'll deal with Martin at the plate. You know, Mario Nacho is an interesting cat for the Yanks. You see Morris's resume there, because last year his lower body was not right, and now he's feeling good, and so far the velocity is up, and that obviously affects all of his pitches. He could be a really important arm out of the bullpen.
He could. There were times during his rookie season where he was one of Aaron Boone's go-to guys, because with that changeup, Marinaccio is someone who can come in and, when he's on, get out righties and get out lefties. So struggled to find the strike zone a little bit last year, but if he has gotten himself back to that point, he could definitely be an asset out of the bullpen. And as far as Morris goes, we should also point out, Michael, he was acquired from the Guardians for Estevan Florial.
That was a base hit, bobbled there by Dunham, as Julian stays at second. So first and second with 2 men out. Single for Martin. That'll bring up Camargo. Camargo struck out in the first and singled off the face of DJ LeMahieu on a bad hop at third base. Drove in a run. LeMahieu's okay, stayed in. Not in the game any longer, but did come back and picked up a hit in his next at bat. Grounded right side. Grabbed there by Torres. Over to Rumfield, and that will do it as Morris gets out of trouble. No runs a hit. 2 men left. The end of 4.5. We're halfway through. Beautiful play by Gleyber Torres. It's 2-2.
Change is never.
Watch MLB.tv and stream 250-plus spring training games and every out-of-market game live or on demand. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Speaking of games, 25 games that Yes Network will have of the Yankee spring training slate. So we're thrilled about that and glad that you could join us, and obviously into the regular season as well. Ryan Jensen, new pitcher for the Twins, deals a strike to Trent Grisham. Mentioned earlier, Grisham, part of the trade that brought Soto to the Yankees, sent 5 players to the Padres. It's a ground ball to first. 1 down. Last season, AA and AAA for Jensen. 78 strikeouts in 64 1/3 innings pitched, but a lot of walks, 54 walks.
And he'll face Rortvedt right now, and Rortvedt caught Garrett Cole's final 13 starts of last season, a Cy Young winning season. No one else in the Yankee organization caught Cole after July 22nd. So Rortvedt essentially became his personal catcher in a year where he ended up winning the Cy Young.
And it's going to be interesting to see if Rortvedt makes the team. He's out of options. The Yankees like Austin Wells, and you know, obviously, Jose Trevino is going to catch Garrett Cole this year. He was his personal catcher before he got hurt. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Rortvedt. Austin Wells does, in fact, have options, so he can be sent down without the threat of losing him. You try to send down Rortvedt, he could be picked by another team.
Great point by you, Michael. With no options, Rortvedt's future is something very interesting to follow at the end of spring training. I think the Yankees like the combination of Trevino and Wells. You have a righty and a lefty. You have a veteran and you have a rookie who is on the way up. As much as they value Rortvedt, I'm not sure you can slow Wells's development. I think Wells proved last year that he's ready to perform at the major league level. So you're right. Does Rortvedt get exposed to waivers, and you hope that you're able to retain him in some fashion?
Rortvedt is the last piece of that ill-fated Twins deal that the Yankees made, where they sent Gary Sanchez to Minnesota and Gio Urshela and got back Josh Donaldson. Didn't work out. IKF, who didn't work out at shortstop, but certainly became a valued member of the Yanks. And then Ben Rortvedt. So Rortvedt's the last one standing as he picks up a single.
One more look at it right here. Jensen, that's a fastball right down the middle. And what are you taught to do by your hitting coaches? Hit the ball right back up the middle. That's exactly what Rortvedt did. Struggle for him offensively last year. We put up the numbers: 118 batting average and OPS of in the 400s. So offense was not his calling card. Defense was.
Here's Van Meter. Pitches high. That one gets away as Rortvedt moves to second. So he's in scoring position. For a moment, it looked like he got hit with it.
It did. It really did. And it sounded like that, too. So, Michael, Van Meter is up in the spot that was occupied by DJ LeMahieu. As you're looking at the Yankee offense this year, what's more important? Who's hitting directly in front of Judge, or who's hitting directly behind Judge?
I think it's who's hitting behind. That's why I'm a proponent of having Judge bat second and Soto bat third, because although Judge has had decent players, very good players behind him, he's never had Soto behind him. So you can only imagine the damage he will do. But Judge has made it very clear he wants to bat third. And Soto, who never wanted to bat second with the Padres, said he's come to grips with it. He doesn't mind it anymore. Well, how about you? What do you think is more important?
This would be a good debate on your talk show. I'm going to have to get on your radio show, because I believe the players in front of Judge, because I think you want to go for that knockout punch. And Jensen goes for the knockout punch.
So if you feel that way, though, then did you waste him when he was batting second? Because in a hundred, let's say if he played in all 162 games, 162 at-bats he came up with, the most person could be one man.
I feel that way about this lineup. You would have had to ask me that about that lineup last year. I feel that way about this lineup because, as I said, you want to go for the knockout punch. There's a projected starting lineup, and I'm in favor of that, although I might move Glaber up and bump Giancarlo down. But mostly I think this is a pretty strong lineup. I think you want to go for the knockout punch. Many games are won early. Look at how often a team who scores first wins. I also trust Judge. I trust Judge that no matter who is hitting behind him, that he would maintain that plate discipline. Now, I know what you're going to say to me. Well, it's going to be a walk instead of a hit. But then your other guys behind him do have to produce.
It does put pressure on the guys behind him. Avina with a high fly ball to left center field. That ball is hopping over the wall for a double. That'll allow Rortvedt to score. Avina is popped up or pumped up, and the Yankees lead 3-2.
Yeah, Vina came into the game for Juan Soto, so you're in that spot in the batting order. It's time for you to do some damage. Fastball, he goes down and gets it, able to drive it to left center field. Think for a moment he thought he might have it. Fans were bracing for it, but it bounces off the warning track for the ground rule double.
Here's Gleyber Torres. You know, talking about placement in the lineup, Jack, the new Astros manager, Joe Espada, has said they're going to start batting Yordan Alvarez second. Well, you have Altuve first and Alvarez second. And Alvarez is, you know, the guy that does the most damage in that lineup, although they have a very good lineup. And then you have to decide who's behind him. Is it Tucker? Is it Bregman?
If you want to split up lefties, you would go Bregman third and Tucker fourth, or if you just don't mind. Personally, I would bat Tucker right behind him, and I would hit Bregman fourth. But they might want to go right, left, right, left.
And you know, one of the reasons the Yankees have always said that they batted Judge second is that over the course of a season, with the way the lineup turns around, he would get 40 more at bats. So how many at bats would he lose if he hits third? I'm sure they have all the statistical analysis of that and the pros and cons of okay, losing at bats, but gaining the ability to drive in runs.
But again, it's about this lineup. Who is he losing at bats to? Juan Soto is now hitting second. There was no Juan Soto in the lineup last year, so
there's a base hit to left center field for Gleyber Torres. Vina will score easily, an RBI single for Gleyber, and the Yankees lead 4-2.
Avina, who was acquired from the Brewers, dancing off second, and good piece of hitting, as they like to say, by Gleyber Torres. This pitch was out and off the plate, drives it right back up the middle, and everything is balanced in this at-bat from Gleyber Torres until he has to reach and go out there and try and do some damage, and he's able to do that right there. We keep talking about Gleyber and pending free agency. He's out of the game right now, but big season upcoming for Gleyber.
So George Lombard Jr., the 18-year-old, is pinch running for Gleyber Torres. A little meeting at the mound for the Twins. So here is Rumfield batting in the cleanup spot vacated by Anthony Rizzo. High A and Double A last year, 17 homers, 58 ribbies in 86 games. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning. Yankees lead the Twins 4-2.
The Yankees posted Lombard Jr. on social media yesterday, Michael, sitting in the dugout holding the baseball. First pro home run. And you and I were just dazzled by the fact that this kid's 18 years old. A lot of high school seniors are playing baseball right now. They're 18, and here's Lombard Jr. going deep in a Major League Spring Training game.
A lot of 18-year-olds right now trying to decide what kind of tux they're going to wear to the prom. The birth year it gets me all. It's 2005. Wow. Played only a handful of games last year. He was the first-round draft pick, and you know, usually they let you play out and not actually play, but they did put him in the system right away. That is the home run we're talking about.
It's that opposite field power.
First professional home run. He didn't hit any in his short time in the minors last year.
Yeah, only 13 games, as you said, so not a lot of at-bats, but definitely acquitted himself yesterday. Spoke about it after the game, talking about wanting to be at this level competitively and showing that yesterday he belonged.
Aaron Boone has been over across the street at Himes, where the Yankees facility is and where the players work out during the winter, and he's kept a close eye on Lombard and thinks the defensive skills are already there, even as an 18-year-old. He's very slick fielding shortstop. So it was good for the Yankees to see him drive the ball the other way. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. That ball gets away, but Lombard will stay right where he is. Stanton so far today is 0 for 2. Fly ball to fairly deep center and then lined out to left. His first spring training at bats. Yankees come into this game 2-1. They split a split squad doubleheader yesterday. The Twins were 1-1. On Stanton. Would they turn him loose, give him a green light here in spring training? Well, the catcher, Camargo, wants to talk with Ryan Jensen.
We'd be remiss, Michael, as we're talking about Lombard Jr., if we didn't mention Roderick Arias, another shortstop in the Yankee system, who is ranked ahead of Lombard Jr. on many of the prospect listings, and he's only 19.
The both of them can't go out for drinks after a game. Here's the 3-0. They do turn him loose. And a high fly ball left field. And that'll do it here in the 5th. But the Yankees take the lead with 2 runs, 3 hits, and 2 men left. Let's go to the 6th.
Everyone.
Welcome back. Top of the 6th inning. Yankees lead 4-2. And the pitch outside to Rodriguez. Cody Morris still in there for the Yankees. Bottom third of the Twins order. Got some changes for you as well. Lombard, who came in to pinch run for Torres, he moves to short, replacing Volpe. And then another highly thought of young player, Yorvi Vivas, who the Yankees got from the Dodgers in the Trey Sweeney deal. He's playing second base. New catcher for the Yankees is J.C. Escar. And Taylor Aguilar is in center field. There's a strike on the 3-0 pitch, taking all the way. And the pitch just missed outside. So Rodriguez with a leadoff walk here in the 6th inning. Yankees Spring Training on Yes is presented by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. So here's Prado. Doubled in the 2nd, grounded to short in the 4th. There's a strike called by Adam Beck.
Michael, revisiting the lineup discussion we had before, talking about other guys who hit number 2. So you've got Yordan Alvarez and presumably Juan Soto for the Yankees. Freddie Freeman, Corey Seager, Rafael Devers, Paul Goldschmidt all hit 2nd. Judge and Ohtani did last year, but they're both sliding to 3rd. Soto, of course, in front of Judge, and Freddie Freeman in front of Ohtani.
You know, it's interesting, Jack, because when we were growing up and learning to love the game, the honor spot was batting 3rd. Your best hitter was batting 3rd. I talked to Paul O'Neill about it, and he said it was a big deal when Buck Showalter moved him to 3rd because he had to move Mattingly out of 3rd. And the thing that made it easier for Paul is that Mattingly gave his blessing and said, you should be there. And this one, Mattingly was toward, the back end of his career where he was not the same player that he used to be. But 3rd, that was the honor position, and then the big damage position was cleanup. But with the advent of analytics, they figured out, you know what? Number 2 is pretty important. Let's see if they turn 2. There's 1, and there's 2.
Nice turn by the Yankees there, getting a couple of quick outs from Morris. There's the 18-year-old in the middle of it again. Lombard Jr. starting it, and the Yankees had the double play. But Michael, you're absolutely right. But Judge, in talking about batting 3rd, you said our generation. Judge said that's kind of the way he grew up watching baseball and expecting it. And what you mentioned about Paul O'Neill and Mattingly, I vividly remember that because I was a beat writer for the New York Times then, covering the Yankees. And if you're a beat writer, you're asking those questions every day. So there was a buildup of us asking Buck Showalter about O'Neill displacing Mattingly, and it finally happened after the All-Star break one year.
And as you know, just from working with Paul and then covering him, he revered Mattingly, and the fact that he was taking that honor spot away just aided him. But Mattingly made it all the more easy by just saying, it's cool, you deserve to be there. But that's what the number 3 spot meant, that Mattingly had to have almost a ceremonial passing of the torch to make it okay. Couldn't snap off that breaking ball enough as Hellman gets hit. We talked about this yesterday. Maurer makes the Hall of Fame. 6-time All-Star, MVP in 09. See the numbers. And then you look at Mattingly. 6-time All-Star, won an MVP. Batting average almost the same. Hits are almost the same. OPS almost the same. Mattingly's not in. Didn't get nearly enough love to even come close to getting in. And Maurer got in on the first try. Maybe that opens the door for Mattingly somewhere down the line with a Veterans Committee. But Mattingly's numbers, very similar to Maurer. Both had careers that tailed off because of injury. Maurer because of a concussion. Mattingly because of his back.
It's uncanny how close those numbers are, and it's definitely worth a discussion, and you and I talked about it yesterday. I do think Mattingly's time on the ballot was shorter and less successful than it should have been. One thing I will add, though, and this does factor when people are voting, Mauer's accomplishments, at least the first half of his career, came as a catcher. And when you look at his accomplishments at the catcher position, he's at a higher level historically than Mattingly is at first base, where there's a lot more accomplished players. So I do think that is a factor that some voters take into consideration.
I also look at it this way, Jack, just to like conflate sports. First basemen are being looked at almost now as running backs in football. They're not getting enough love. I mean, you see great first basemen. They're not making the same kind of money as great outfielders or great shortstops. They're just not. And we're going to see, you know, this offseason what Pete Alonso gets. You know, a guy who can hit you 50 home runs has done that. And, you know, the comparable is Freddie Freeman and Olsen, Matt Olsen with the Braves. But it's not, you know, it's not Aaron Judge. That's not the comp anymore. You know, we see the same thing in the NFL with Saquon Barkley of the Giants. There's just so much that they're going to give a first baseman. Maybe that's the same thing with Love in the Hall of Fame. So that's going to do it. Morris works a scoreless sixth inning, and we go to the bottom of the sixth.
Judge told me the other day that you guys have a great energy in that clubhouse right now. How would you describe the way this team is coming together?
Awesome. It's optimistic. It is a higher energy. I think the biggest thing early is belief. There's a lot of belief in this clubhouse early, and usually that's something that's built throughout the year. And it's good friendships, guys coming together, and just hungry for more.
It seems like you guys get along. Is that right, Glaber?
Yeah, together. Oh, hey, Glaber. Yeah. So, you know, so I think we all know what it takes, and there's an intense focus, but also a relaxed focus as well. So it's a really good combination of a mixture of guys in there.
That guy, Glaber Torres, in the final year before he becomes a free agent, what type of year do you think he's capable of having?
I mean, his potential, he has all the tools. So I think with the down season that the team had personally, I think all the individuals are not happy about that. And it's a perfect storm for coming in this year. And you know, credit to Hal and Cash, the front office, for bringing in Soto, bringing in Verdugo, and bringing in extra guys, Grish. You know, these additions that have just sparked us to a belief that we rightfully should have. But at the end of it, we know that it's a very, very long ways away, and handling the little things today will set up for future success, and that's what we're focused on. You mentioned some of those additions, and it seems like the lineup is more balanced than it ever has been. How do you think that will help this team? I just think you're going to have to pick your poison, really, whether you want to bring in a right-hander or left-hander later in the game with all the balance, left, right, and guys can do damage on both sides of the plate. So I think if guys just stay true to who they are, there's the beauty is no one has to carry this team at any single point. I'm sure it's going to be fun when guys get hot, and hopefully we get hot at the same time. But if guys just are themselves character-wise and performance-wise, we should be pretty good.
For you personally, last season did not end the way you would have liked, out with the concussion. At what point in time this offseason did you feel like you were back to your normal self and able to do everything?
Right away. You know, it's weird with the concussion, learning about it. But I felt great all off season, and you know, there's always a little bit of that doubt, but once you get on the field yesterday, when I got here a few weeks ago to Tampa, seeing the live BPs and just seeing the ball the way I'm accustomed to seeing it was a great feeling, and it's just another check off the box. But all offseason I felt great. Coming in here I feel great, and yesterday just playing in the game was a lot of fun, and you appreciate it when you don't get to play as much.
So for you, have you checked all the boxes, or are you still kind of in wait-and-see mode to make sure that you're okay?
I think after the first live BP 2-3 weeks ago now was everything I needed. Just to be precise, it's all about precision. Now spring training is all about just catching up to game speed, which I feel like I'm pretty much there through the lives. Spring's a progression, so you want the different situations, you want the different scenarios coming up to the plate and getting those different juices, but that's just all regular stuff now.
Anthony, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Meredith.
Michael, send it back to you.
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you to Meredith. The interview of the day brought to you by your local Ford stores. Hobie Harris is the new pitcher for the Twins. And on second base is Elijah Dunham. Also, as Meredith was talking with Anthony Rizzo, Dodgers beat writer Juan Toribio of MLB.com said that the Dodgers have traded Manuel Margot to the Twins. And we said right at the start, Twins are a little shorter on outfielders. Who's going to be the outfielders for them? And Manuel Margot, who went over from the Rays to the Dodgers, that's a pretty good pickup for the Twins.
Right, the Dodgers acquired Glasnow. Margot was part of that deal. Initially, the Dodgers talked about him being part of their outfield rotation, hitting against some lefties. He is a career .281 hitter with a .420 slugging percentage against lefties, but now he comes to Minnesota, where there should be more playing time available for Margot.
That one's on one hop to second base. Could not handle it cleanly, so Grisham will reach as Dunham moves to third. You know, a lot of the outfield situation with the Twins plays into Byron Buxton. He's been on the IL for 29% of Twins games since his major league debut in 2015. Last year, strictly a DH, so they were very careful with him. He had surgery on his knee during the offseason, expects to be the everyday center fielder. He is a special outfielder, and he has special talent, but obviously the one ability he needs the most is availability. He has been unable to stay healthy.
Right, that graphic right there tells you everything you need to know about not being on the field. A dynamic player, someone who the Twins have wanted to build around and have tried to build around, and as we mentioned earlier during our broadcast, he said during the offseason, had right knee surgery, he's ready to go, he wants to be in center field, and if he can be out there and be healthy on a consistent basis for the Twins, what a big difference. And
he's feeling so good that he's claiming that he might have 30 or 40 stolen bases as well. And what a weapon he could be for Rocco Baldelli and the Twins. 1-2 on Aguilar.
By the way, Michael Harris, who was on the mound for the Twins, was a Yankee draft pick. 31st round out of the University of Pittsburgh back in 2015. He pitched 5 seasons in the Yankee system. He was with them through 2019.
And he strikes out Aguilar for the second out. So first and third for the Yankees with 2 men down here in the 6th. They lead by 2. Back to the top of the order, and Josh Van Meter.
Hobie Harris. Did I say Michael Harris?
No, you said Hobie, I think.
I have Harris written down on my notes here.
That was a strike.
We didn't get to talk about it when he was at the plate, Michael, and he ended up striking out. But Yorbit Vivas is an interesting player to keep an eye on with the Yankees. Acquired in the trade with the Dodgers that sent Trey Sweeney there. Yankees like a lot about his game.
It was a high fly ball. Martin makes the play, and that'll do it for the Yankees. In the 6th as they strand 2. We go to the 7th inning. Yankees up by 2. Well, support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. We go to the 7th inning on a bright, sunny Monday afternoon in Tampa, Florida. Yankees lead this one 4-2. Hits are even at 8 apiece on the Montefiore Einstein scoreboard. And the first pitch is a breaking ball strike. There's another strike. Kalei Rosario at the plate. Skied the other way.
Michael, our research staff dug up the exact date when O'Neill supplanted Mattingly in the number 3 spot. It was July 20th, 1994. And that was the year where O'Neill was flirting with a 400 average. So that's why the questions were coming fast and furious to Buck Showalter about when are you going to move O'Neill up to, as we have already discussed, what was considered the most coveted spot in the lineup then.
Swing and a miss. Rosario down on strikes. That was such a fun year because you would just go to O'Neill's locker and ask him about 400 and he would explode. Why are you guys doing this? Talk to me at the end of June if I'm. And then he was hitting 400 and he told us we could talk to him, and he had to talk about it. And he still blames us that he wasn't hitting 400, although he won the batting title.
He did win the batting title. Obviously, the season was never completed.
Nice play there by Rumfield to retire Rucker. Hey, Thursday night on the Yes app, catch the next spring training game from Steinbrenner Field as the Yankees take on the Miami Marlins. Coverage starts at 6:30 on the Yes app. And remember, if you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. So download it now. Also remember, Yankees opening day is March 28th. We're going to have it right here in Houston, Yankees against the Astros. Can't wait for that. A 4-game set. Then the Yankees move to Arizona for 3 against the National League champion Diamondbacks, and then the home opener after that. So it's going to be a great season.
On June 1st, Michael, O'Neill was hitting .425 that season. By June 17th, he dipped under 400, went to .397. Still finished the year hitting .359.
Yeah, he blamed me for the dip to this day. Two and one. So could not hold up. Williams goes down. Strong inning for Morris as he works a 1-2-3. And at the end of 6.5 innings of play, it's time for the 7th inning stretch at Steinbrenner Field. Yankees lead the Twins 4-2, but we'll stay right here as they honor America in sunny Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, today the New York Yankees are recognizing all the brave men and women of our armed forces. So please direct your attention to the Yankees first base dugout and welcome Colonel Thomas Piazza of the United States Air Force. Colonel Piazza retired after serving 47 years in the Department of Defense. As part of his service, he was part of the United States Special Operations Command at MacDill Air Force Base, with deployments including Germany, Belgium, Mombasa, and Kenya, where he was assigned to the United States Central Command Task Force Operation Provide Relief. The New York Yankees welcome Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Piazza, our military honoree of the game, and say thank you to all of our brave men and women for their service and sacrifices for our nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and remove your caps for the playing of God Bless America.
All right, fans, it's stretch time.
I'm former Major League pitcher Andy Pettitte. I teamed up with Tom
Well, let's check out the Acura scoring summary. Each team with 8 hits. The Yankees lead 4-2. Simeon Woods Richardson started, went 1 inning. Nestor Cortez went 2 2/3 with the start. Good day for Miranda. And another good couple of at-bats for Juan Soto, 1 for 2. And the 2 was a 2-run double off the right field wall. All right, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning at Steinbrenner Field. And here's Avina on the mound against Harris. You know, there is certainly a buzz around this Yankee team, especially with the addition of Juan Soto. And it showed up in our broadcast yesterday, and we want to thank everybody who tuned in. Yesterday's broadcast, the Yankees and the Blue Jays, was the 2nd most viewed Yankee spring training game ever. So that's the kind of buzz and that's the kind of excitement around this team right now, following an 82-80 non-playoff appearance last year. There's a good feeling around this team with the Pacoda, projection being 94 wins and winning the American League East. Again, it's not played on paper or with computer sheets, but it does show you that this team is thought of highly throughout Major League Baseball. That's going to be an extra base hit down the left field line as Avina picks up a leadoff double.
Well, Yankee fans are passionate, Michael. You and I both know that. They're loyal. They're hungry for a winner. And the addition of Juan Soto in this offseason was a move that the Yankees knew that they had to make. Yesterday was Juan Soto's spring debut. Yankee fans also had the opportunity to see Rodon, and we know, we talked about it, how important he is as an X factor for this year.
Pitch to Lombard Jr. as a strike. "13 games in the minors last year."
The Yankees drafted Lombard Jr., signed him to a $3.3 million signing bonus. We've mentioned before, his dad is the bench coach for the Detroit Tigers. Hit his first professional home run in yesterday's game, an opposite field bullet, and he's 18 years old.
He was going to go to that baseball factory, Vanderbilt, and that's why he got a nice signing bonus from the Yankees. So he had the option of going to college and decided to sign with the Yankees. As he swings and misses and goes down on strikes. Well, Giancarlo Stanton has made his spring training debut today. He was 0 for 3, but Meredith Marakovits is talking with him right now outside the Yankee clubhouse.
Giancarlo, your first action of the spring. Does it feel good just to get back out there and going again?
Yeah, it definitely feels good to get going. I feel like I saw the ball pretty well. Barrel accuracy could have been a little better. I hit some decent line drives, but not full action.
DH today. Do you have any idea when you might potentially get in the outfield?
I think Thursday we're looking at that, but definitely within the next week or so.
You came here to camp, look noticeably different. A lot has been made about kind of changing the body composition. Why was that so important for you to do?
This is a game of adjustments. You got to adapt as you go along, adapt to what needs to be done. So, as the years, as I get up there in years, just try to be as easy on my body as possible.
Is there a noticeable difference to you? Do you feel different out there already?
The movements are better. I mean, it's interesting. The jersey sizes are the exact same. So, yeah, it's just good.
What do you think of overall the moves that the Yankees have made this offseason in the outfield in particular, and really when it comes to that lineup?
Some great moves, great additions, just to make us better, put us in a a better situation for our ultimate goal, and the guys have filled in perfectly.
What have you thought of Soto so far?
Amazing. Everything and more. Just watching his at-bats, watching just about every ball he's swung has been over the fence. So hopefully, it will continue. So it's good.
You also mentioned the other day that maybe you made some slight tweaks to your swing. Can you get into that a little bit? Exactly what you decided to change and how you think that might help you moving forward?
Just starting the hands a little closer to my body and working out towards a big part of the field for the most part.
What are your goals for this season?
Get back to form. The last season and a half hasn't been me, so change the narrative.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Send it back to you, Michael.
Thank you, Giancarlo. Thank you, Meredith, as well. Ben Rice at the plate, 1-1 count. Hey, these players, obviously, they have incredible confidence in themselves, but they hear things. They hear the things that are being said. And, Stan has handled himself with such grace and class throughout his struggles and throughout the injuries. But that's not the way he wants to end his career. He has 4 more years, including this one with the Yankees, and obviously wants to change the narrative just a bit.
What he said at the end is what he controls, Michael, changing the narrative. The person who can change that is Giancarlo Stanton, talking to Meredith about a year and a half's worth of struggles. We talked about the number of injuries and not being on the field. And when you look at Giancarlo Stanton's resume, he's got more than 400 career home runs. He's got an MVP. He had a 59 homer season. You want to be part of what is going on around the Yankees right now. There is rightful attention and a huge buzz around Juan Soto. Aaron Judge is right behind that because he holds the American League record with 62 homers, and they're going to hit back-to-back. Giancarlo Stanton has pride too, Michael. He wants to be mentioned in that same classification because in his career he has been the most feared hitter in Major League Baseball. So if he can change the narrative, he can change that.
Yankees have the bases loaded. Rocco Baldelli going to the bullpen. Well, tonight on Yes Watch, Mikal Bridges and the Brooklyn Nets take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Coverage begins at 7:30 with tip-off shortly after 8 here on Yes and the Yes app. And if you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Yankees have the bases loaded. New pitcher is Bo Burrows. And the pitch is inside to Dunham. Bases loaded, 1 man out. Yankees up by 2. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Burrows, 2 levels last year, AA and AAA. You see the numbers. Breaking ball misses outside, 2-0.
Michael, I want it to be an equal opportunity 400 batting average note giver. Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins hit .365 in 2009. He was over 400 as late as June 21st, 407. So similar to O'Neill. Might have had him by a few days. O'Neill's 94 run.
You know, we've been talking about the Hall of Fame over these past 2 games, and one of the things that jumps out at me is some of the Yankees that were part of the championship run didn't get nearly the amount of support and love that their numbers would indicate that they should get. One of them is Jorge Posada, who was knocked off the ballot in his first year. He didn't get a requisite 5%. That one is driven to right center field, and it's going to be dropped by the center fielder Martin. That'll allow a couple of runs to score. And the Yankees now lead this one by a score of 6-2.
Yeah, Dunham able to drive this into center field. Probably a ball that should have been caught. Take one more look at it. Yeah, off the end of the glove. Dunham was at AA and AAA last year, 16 homers in 125 games.
And that was Soler, who's been moved into center field, replacing Martin. Anyway, you look at Posada's numbers, and you compare them with other catchers. I'm not saying he should be in, but the fact that he got no support whatsoever is strange. Same thing with David Cone. No support whatsoever. Bernie Williams, no support whatsoever. I mean, you have a vote. Do they stand out to you why they didn't even get support?
Great question. If let's just, you started out with Posada, let's look at Jorge, and you're absolutely right. If you would look at his numbers in comparison to
Vivas deep to right field. See ya! 3-run home run for Yorvik Vivas, and the Yankees are running away with this. They lead at 9-2. You know, Jack spoke about Vivas, came over in the Trey Sweeney deal from the Dodgers. Good bat-to-ball ratio. He can really make contact. They like his power. This guy is a player. He's not just a throw-in in that deal.
He had 12 homers in the minor leagues last season at AA and AAA. The thing the Yankees like, you kind of talked about it, Michael, over 600 plate appearances. He had an under 12% strikeout rate, but he's also got some pop, as he showed right then and there. As I was aimlessly telling Jorge Posada stories, I got to let you call this home run. This kid is someone to keep an eye on. He's a second baseman. Could he be someone becomes a part of the Yankees' future? We've talked about Torres being a free agent. A lot to throw into the mix there when Vivas is brought up.
And you know what? There's no sure things in the Yankee backup infielders, so you never know if you could hit your way onto the roster. Vivas is respected throughout baseball, and it became a roster manipulation deal for the Dodgers. They were running out of roster space.
Right, Victor Gonzalez was part of that deal as well that the Yankees made. So a couple players to keep an eye on this spring.
And the Yankees gave up, well, you know, a former first-round draft pick and Trey Sweeney, so it's not like the Dodgers didn't get anything back, but again, roster manipulation sometimes dictates moves.
One more look at it. Gets the head of the bat out, elevates the pitch, and he knew it. Just crawls over the wall.
Aguilar swings and misses. All right, finish your Posada point. Come on.
Posada has swings like this that led to 275 home runs in Posada's career. OPS of almost 850. I think one of the things that might have dragged him down in terms of voting, Michael, under 1,700 career hits. And when you look at the Baseball Writers Association, 2,000 hits has kind of been a bar that has to be exceeded for the writers to vote you in.
So that'll change when Chase Utley gets in.
Well, Andrew Jones is another one,
right,
who is moving up the voting totals. So I think that is something that could have hurt Posada. I think Jorge Posada, Bernie Williams, and David Cone, all three of them that you said, had Hall of Fame-ish careers, but were they legitimate Hall of Famers? They didn't get the votes, so that says no. but I think it's a healthy debate to have about all three of them.
And I think, you know what? Success in the postseason is important. Look at David Cohn's numbers. And, you know, the rings are also important. I know that's a team stat, but they played a big role in those teams winning championships. And if Paul O'Neill had spent his whole career in New York, rather than the struggles he had in Cincinnati, he'd be on that list as well. Three-two. Strike three. Aguilar down looking. But the Yankees put up a 5-spot. Big 3-run home run by Vivas. 9-2. We go to the 8th.
Washington.
Nestor, did you go into today looking to work on anything in particular?
No, not really. Just trying to feel as healthy as possible. Not try and go 100% either. Just kind of feel it out. Even though there were some pitches I stepped on and it felt pretty good.
You had talked to me earlier this spring about how anxious you were to get back out there and be on the mound again, try to be healthy throughout the course of the entire season. How difficult is it to not go 100%?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, especially since I haven't pitched in a while. Going back to May and one start in August, it might have been. Anxious to go out there. Obviously, as a competitor, it's hard to gauge where you're at as far as the adrenaline and, you know, how hard you go. But maybe I was going 100% internally, but mentally I wanted to feel like I was feeling my body out and making sure that I was in a good spot.
So early in the spring, but what did you learn about where you're at?
Well, going back to the last slide that I threw, it felt like I didn't need much. You know, I didn't have to step on much to get the velo that I usually get. And then going out there today, it felt good. I think I was like 91, 92 for the most part, touched 3 and 4. Like I said, I did step on a few, and it felt great, so hopefully I can build off that.
You had mentioned the other day the biggest thing for you was the recovery. You feel much better the day after, days after. Just compare it to last year. How does that feel different to you?
Yeah, last year I felt like immediately after my outing I was extremely sore already. And then the next day it was hard for me to move around and get my body going. And then now moving forward and fast forwarding it to today, I feel great right now. I feel like I could have gone another inning or you know, a couple more pitches, but obviously it's a building process, and it's just another break that I'm laying down. Hopefully, you know, that injury's past me, and now going to four innings next time around.
Overall, do you feel encouraged after this one?
Yeah, super encouraged. Like I said, I think the velo was there, command was there, pitches were great, gave up a few hits, but happy where my body's at right now.
Now, yesterday I had Juan Soto out here. He had an orange sweatshirt on, and Michael Kay said he loved it. He needed to find out where it's from. I don't think he could pull that off, but this pinstripe situation here might be more fit for the K-Ster. Do you think he can pull that off?
This is for everybody. If I can put it off, anybody can put it off.
All right, Nestor, you heard it right there, Michael. Maybe this is your new look.
You know what? I love it. And also, I did look up that sweatshirt that Juan Soto wore yesterday. It's sold out.
Wow.
Cannot be gotten.
How did you know how to find it?
I got people. But I do like what Nestor was sporting there. And he did look good today. That's the most important thing. He looked good, and we see how he bounces back. He said last year he would feel it after a game. So we'll see. He said he feels good now, and then you see how he feels tomorrow.
The location was there, Michael. We talked about how important that was, and there was something that was lacking last year. And I think when you lose your location, you might have a tendency to lose some confidence. That could have been a part of what hurt Nestor last year, but obviously it was the injuries. It was the inability to stay on the field and be out there because of the shoulder problem. So the fact that he has not dealt with any shoulder issue this spring, and he goes out there and throws close to 50 pitches his first time out, very promising for the Yankees so far. There are two pitchers in Rodon and Cortez, the two who are bouncing back from injuries, have both given the Yankees encouraging outings.
Foul back by O'Keefe. Hey, let's check out the injury report brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. We look at the Martian. Dominguez underwent Tommy John surgery in September, hoping he makes a mid-season return. What a debut. First at bat, he hits a home run, and he's going to start swinging today, and he did some tee work, considered by Baseball America the 16th best prospect in Major League Baseball.
Rebounding from Tommy John surgery, I think what we must emphasize with Dominguez, you'll see Ohtani hit for the Dodgers this year and not pitch post Tommy John surgery. Dominguez will return to the Yankees at the major league level when he can play the field and hit. The Yankees have already said that. They're not going to try and rush him back. He's a young, very valuable prospect. You don't even want to wave that possibility in front of a kid's head that perhaps you can come back and DH. First of all, the Yankees have Stanton at DH anyway, but you want a kid of that age and of that stature to be 100% when he returns to the majors. I mean, just turned 21 a couple of weeks ago.
Did he go? No, he did not, said James Hoy, so a walk to O'Keefe. Well, how quickly can you come back from Tommy John? Gleyber Torres did it in 10 months. Corey Seager took 11 months. Salvador Perez, a catcher, so you really need the arm, took him 17 months. And Bryce Harper, 5 months, which was incredible. So Dominguez underwent the surgery in September. Sky to right field. Avina backing up, makes the catch. And advancing to third is DeAndre. On the mound is Odanya Mosqueda for the Yankees.
He was at the Red Sox last year. Mosqueda pitched at their AAA level. 61 innings, 74 strikeouts. That's really good. 39 walks. That's not very good. So did get a lot of whiffs, did get a lot of swing and miss, but also clearly struggled to find the zone at times. Now, Michael, we moved forward, but I want to go back to the wardrobe discussion. So any interview that Meredith does this spring, if the Yankee player is donning an article of clothing that is appealing to you, we're going to hear about this on the air?
No. I mean, because there are some articles of clothing that I find reprehensible, but the first two have been great. I love that orange hoodie, and then Nestor looks sharp, and I think pinstripe. It's very flattering to a big person.
Did you see if the Soto sweatshirt had any kind of wait list or anything like that? Sometimes you can give your email.
I don't do wait lists.
You don't do it, okay.
No, it just said that not available, sold out. Swing and a miss.
You're sure someone of your status can't get them to dig way back in the warehouse and make, there it is.
Well, you're making the classic mistake. I have no status.
I think if you barked a little louder, there'd be a nice orange graffiti, paint splattered sweatshirt. Well, it's paint splattered. Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, paint splattered. I'll tell you what, Soto and I get close, he might just give it to me.
I don't think so.
About the same size as me.
That's not going to happen. He wore that his first spring game and he hit a home run. That's staying in the rotation.
Oh, we'll talk. And that will do it as Rucker strikes out. And that'll do it for the Twins. No runs a hit. 2 men left. Talking more close when we get back. Yankees lead 9-2. Welcome back to Yankee Spring Training, presented by Ford, proud to be the official SUV of the New York Yankees. What a beautiful day. Yankees are leading in this one as we start the bottom of the 8th inning. Burrow's still in there. Van Meter at the plate. Just got a disturbing text, Jack, from our good friend Susan Waldman.
Uh-oh.
Said, I'm not really sure that the orange sweatshirt is your color.
She's talking
to me.
To you.
Yeah.
Would that be classified as a disturbing text or an honest text?
I look at it as disturbing. You might look at it as honest. Fly ball, left field. Sayer is there to make the play.
It does take a level of confidence to go that bright, and you don't want anyone to drop a Halloween or a pumpkin on you. Charlie Brown, something like that.
Here's Avina. I mean, nice play in right field. He's had 2 doubles and 2 at-bats. Last year at single A, you see his numbers. Up on the right side. Who's going to get it? 2 away. Hey, tickets for all 2024 Yankee home games, they're on sale at Yankees.com. This season's home schedule includes some great promotional giveaways and is highlighted by interleague games against the Dodgers, the Braves, and the Cardinals, as well as the annual Subway Series against the Mets. For more information and to get your 2024 Yankees tickets, visit Yankees.com today. Judge wants to see you there. Lombard Jr. takes strike from Burrows.
When the Yankees drafted Lombard Jr., Damon Oppenheimer, who handles the draft for the organization, talked about his 5-tool ability. He lines out to right field there, but tattooed that one. A lot to look forward to with George Lombard Jr.
And we look forward to the ninth coming up. Yankee Spring Training on Yes is presented by your local Ford stores. There's an engine that drives this team. Ford is proud to be the official SUV of the Yankees. Hey, it's never been more important to tell you this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. You do not want any of Jack Curry's stuff disseminated without permission.
Well, I guess that's part of what that is saying, but I think there's a lot more involved there, Michael.
You think so?
I do.
Severino at the plate. A hard foul ball back. Mosqueda deals low.
Michael, once you get to the point in the game where the regulars are out, you say to yourself, some minor league prospects are coming in, some non-roster invitees. Where do these guys fit in? How do all these guys fit in? And here's a reminder. Yankees used 54 players last year as Mosqueda gets that whiff. There's a place for a lot of these players. Today, following the game, keep it here on Yes as Michael Kay, Don LaGreca, and Peter Rosenberg give their takes on all the local teams, plus an entertaining look at the day's headlines with ENN. Watch the Michael Kay Show today, following the Yankees game here on Yes.
So after the last out, I have to run down the hallway to another room. You want to come with me and do the radio?
Oh, you already have Peter and Don. You don't need me.
Okay. 0-1 on Rosario. 1 away here in the ninth inning. Yankees up by 7.
Can't take airtime away from Don or Peter. Don, I want Don to give me the latest of what's going on with the Rangers. I know the winning streak was ended.
Look at you. Yep.
I need to know what Peter's big topic is on ENN. They're going to want an update on the Pusick.
It's a ground ball to short. 2 away. 1 out to go here on a beautiful Monday in Tampa. Let's look at Lombard's arm.
Yeah, Aaron Boone talked about how he already looks like a major league player. That's a major league arm right there. I mean, clearly a lot of velo on that throw. And these games in spring training, for those Yankee fans who may not have been aware of George Lombard Jr. as he ascends through the minor league system this year and in the coming years, they'll be keeping a close eye on him.
That's an 18-year-old arm.
Have to be happy with Nestor Cortez Jr. and what he did today. The fact that he's out there and not feeling anything with his shoulder, and velocity was up to 94. LeMahieu back on the field, Stanton back on the field, Soto continuing to do what he does. So another encouraging day for the Yankees. You have to have these days in spring training. Some won't be as encouraging, but you're building a foundation, to quote Aaron Boone, and that's what the Yankees are doing in these early games.
Yankees a strike away. And they get it. Nope, a foul ball. So Sabato stays alive. Yankees looking to go 3-1 in the Grapefruit League. The games in Florida called the Grapefruit League. Games in Arizona called the Cactus League during spring training. This should do it. Ground ball to Vivas. Over to first. And the Yankees win 9-2. So Aaron Boone likes the way his team looks so far in the spring. A lot of good things, as Jack pointed out. But the best thing that we saw today results in the Cadillac Player of the Game, Jack.
Yeah, it's Yorbit Vivas, who was acquired from the Dodgers in the trade that sent Trey Sweeney to the Dodgers. Victor Gonzalez and Yorbit Vivas come back. He's a second baseman. He'll probably play at AAA this year. He'll remember this moment. He's known for not striking out and for putting the ball in play. Well, he got that one in the air. 3-run homer for Vivas in a 9-2 Yankee win.
9-11-0 for the Yanks, 2-9-1 for the Twins. It took 2 hours and 40 minutes. Morris the win. Jensen the loss. Cortez started. Soto with another big hit. That'll do it from George M. Steinbrenner Field. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, Jared Bosnack, and the executive producer of the Yes Network is Mr. John J. Filippelli. Join us again Thursday as the Yankees take on the Marlins from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Coverage will begin at 6:30 p.m. on the Yes Network. Again, the final score. It's the New York Yankees 9 and the Minnesota Twins 2. Aaron Boone likes what he sees. Yankees 3-1 on the spring. For Jack Curry and Meredith Marakovitz, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya. Hope you've enjoyed the game. Have a good one, everybody. Get some sun. Use some sunscreen. So long.